Somewhere on Mars, there is a machine sitting perfectly still in the dark. Its battery died years ago. It is not broken, exactly. It simply ran out of light and stopped. There are others. One is lying on its side in a crack on a comet. One is face down on a moon where it rains gasoline. Two of them have left the solar system entirely and are still transmitting to nobody in particular. We built them, we sent them out, and we have no way to bring any of them back. This is the story of the loneliest machines humanity has ever made and what they did before the silence. In January 2004, a golf cart-sized rover named Opportunity bounced onto the surface of Mars inside a cocoon of airbags. Its mission was 90 days. That was the honest expectation. Martian dust would slowly coat its solar panels, its power would fade, and within 3 months it would go quiet. It drove for 15 years. It found little gray spheres the team nicknamed blueberries, proof that water once stood on that ground. It climbed down into craters and back out of them. Its front steering motor failed, so it drove backwards for years, dragging a dead wheel behind it. Its memory failed, so it stopped trying to remember anything overnight and sent everything home immediately instead. It kept going, and every so often it photographed its own shadow. By 2018, Opportunity had driven a marathon on another planet, 28 miles, and then a dust storm began. Not a local one. It grew until it wrapped the entire globe, and the sky above Opportunity turned from butterscotch to brown to black. These are its own measurements of the sunlight fading, taken over 11 days. On June 10th, 2018, it sent one last transmission. The engineers translate that telemetry roughly as, "My battery is low and it is getting dark." NASA called its name for 8 months. They sent more than 1,000 commands into the silence, hoping the wind would clear its panels. It never answered. The last image it ever took is this one. The frame cuts off partway through because the machine ran out of power in the middle of sending it. Elsewhere on Mars, others are still driving. Curiosity landed in 2012. A nuclear-powered rover the size of a car, lowered on cables from a rocket-powered crane. This is Curiosity 2 months after landing. And this is the same rover, the same camera, 3 years later. There is no rain on Mars to wash anything away, and no wind strong enough to clear the dust for long. So it just settles, year after year, until the machine wears the planet like a second skin. Its wheels are worse. The aluminum is thin enough to tear on the rocks, and after 13 years, they are full of holes and cracks. Every tear maps the exact stone that made it. Curiosity is driving on its own scars, and it is still climbing. Perseverance arrived in 2021 and does something stranger. It drills cores of Martian rock, seals them in metal tubes, and sets them down on the ground in careful little piles. A depot, arranged for a mission that has not been built yet, to come and collect. It is packing a lunch for someone who may never arrive. It photographs itself, sends the picture across 140 million miles, and waits about 12 minutes to find out if anyone answered. It did not come alone. Folded up under Perseverance's belly was Ingenuity, a helicopter weighing 4 pounds, built to prove a single point. That powered flight was possible in an atmosphere 1% as thick as Earth's. To fly there, its blades had to spin roughly 8 times faster than a helicopter on Earth. NASA asked it for 5 flights. It flew 72. It stopped being an experiment and became a scout, flying ahead of the rover, photographing ground no one had seen, finding routes through the rubble. It survived Martian winters it was never designed for. It kept going for almost 3 years. In January 2024, over a flat, featureless stretch of sand, it lost track of where it was. The landing was hard, and afterward, Ingenuity did something that is difficult to look at without feeling something. It photographed its own shadow, and in that shadow you can see the tip of a rotor blade, snapped clean off. It could never fly again. So NASA turned it into a weather station. It still sits on that patch of Mars taking measurements, and it will sit there long after everyone who built it is gone. The hardest thing we ever tried was landing on something that is not a planet at all. Comet 67P is a lump of ice and dust about 2.5 miles across, tumbling through space at 84,000 miles an hour. In 2004, Europe launched a spacecraft called Rosetta to chase it. The chase took 10 years. Rosetta swung around Earth 3 times and Mars once, went into hibernation for 2.5 years to save power, and woke up on schedule in 2014 with the comet finally in view. On November 12th, it released a small lander called Philae. Philae had harpoons designed to fire into the ice on contact, because the comet's gravity is so weak that a person standing on it could jump off into space. The harpoons did not fire. Philae touched the surface at walking speed and bounced half a mile back up, drifting for nearly 2 hours before it came down again, bounced a second time, and finally came to rest somewhere nobody could see. Wedged against a cliff, tilted onto its side, it was in shadow. Its solar panels were getting a fraction of the light they needed. Philae worked for about 60 hours on battery alone. It drilled the surface, sent home every measurement it could, and then, with the last of its power, it went to sleep. Lost. For 2 years, Rosetta searched for it. And then, in September 2016, less than a month before the mission was scheduled to end, it found it. This is the photograph. You can make out the body of the lander and 2 of its legs jammed into a crack in the ice. And then, because Rosetta was nearly out of fuel, the team decided not to simply switch it off. They flew it down. Slowly, deliberately, they lowered a 12-year-old spacecraft onto the surface of the comet it had chased across the solar system, taking pictures the whole way until the signal flatlined. They are both still there, riding the same comet around the sun, about 6.5 years per lap, forever. Farther out, there is one more. Titan is Saturn's largest moon, and the only world besides Earth with liquid on its surface. But the liquid is methane, and the rain is closer to gasoline. It is wrapped in orange smog so thick that for centuries, nobody had any idea what was underneath it. In 2005, a probe called Huygens detached from the Cassini spacecraft and fell into it. 2.5 hours of descent on batteries with no way home and no second chance. As it came down, the smog thinned, and it saw drainage channels, riverbeds carved by methane rain running down into a dark plain. It hit the ground at about 11 miles an hour, bounced, slid, and stopped. It kept transmitting for roughly 70 more minutes from the surface of a moon nearly 1 billion miles from Earth. Then Cassini dropped below the horizon, and the link was gone. Huygens is still lying there in the cold. It remains the most distant landing human beings have ever made, and in 20 years, nothing has gone back. And then there are the 2 that left. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 launched 16 days apart in 1977 to take advantage of an alignment of the outer planets that happens roughly once every 176 years. Between them, they gave us our first real look at Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Voyager 2 is still the only spacecraft that has ever visited the last 2. This photograph of Neptune was taken in 1989, and 37 years later, it is still the best we have. Bolted to the side of each spacecraft is a gold-plated record. Greetings in 55 languages, whale song, thunder, footsteps, a heartbeat, music from Bach to Chuck Berry. It was assembled in a matter of weeks by a small team who understood they were writing a message with no expectation of a reply. In 1990, as Voyager 1 was leaving, Carl Sagan convinced NASA to turn the camera around and photograph home. From 4 billion miles, Earth was less than a single pixel, a pale blue dot caught by chance in a scattered ray of sunlight. Both spacecraft are in interstellar space now. Voyager 1 is more than 15 billion miles away, and the signal that reaches Earth is fainter than almost anything else we know how to detect. We still hear it. Their power is fading. Sometime in the next few years, the last instrument will be switched off, and they will go quiet. They will keep going anyway. In about 40,000 years, Voyager 1 will drift within a light year and a half of a small star in the constellation Camelopardalis. Nobody will be watching. The record will still be bolted to the side. None of these machines were built to be admired. They were built to work and to report, and most of them were built to end where they landed. But every one of them was made by people who knew they would never see them again. Engineers who spent a decade of their lives on something they would say goodbye to on an ordinary morning and never touch again. Right now, as you watch this, Opportunity is sitting in the dust on Meridiani Planum. Ingenuity is on a sandy flat with a broken blade, taking weather readings nobody asked for. Philae and Rosetta are riding a comet through the dark. Huygens is on a frozen shore on Titan, and two Voyagers are pushing out into interstellar space, still whispering. They are not coming home. They were never coming home. And they are the farthest that human beings have ever reached.